Hello YouTube, this is Shirley426 and today we have a review of the Shinkalion 500 Type Eva from the Kaiyodo company. So for those who don't know what the Kaiyodo company is, it's the company that makes the revoltech figures. So yeah, I bought this some time ago. I basically got this gift card that I could use online, and I basically saved up and bought this pretty much without paying extra. So I was able to purchase this without paying any extra, so just use the gift card as well. So, the more I look into this, I'm not really sure if this is supposed to be in the revoltech line, because some basically web shops could put this in the revoltech section, but once again, on the box itself, I'm not seeing any revoltech, mention on it. Sure, the company logo, the Kaiyodo, is in there, but there's no mention regarding the revoltech term. So, yeah. And on the box, it rather mentions as the Evangelion Evolution. So I'm assuming that it's supposed to be like a new lineup for them, so that is focused on the Evangelion series. Alright, so now let's get on to the review. So, despite being from Kaiyodo, and usually Kaiyodo is known for its revoltech figures, this does not have any of those revoltech joints. For those who don't know what the revoltech joint is, you can always check my revoltech reviews out there. But basically they have this joint. They're the specific type joints that uses ratchet joints at the same time. So they're very good for keeping a figure on a specific pose, but at the same time there is a little bit of less freedom or less control on the figure itself. But this one, not being a revoltech, there are no revoltech joints. Everything is either like ball joints or just pretty much typical joints out there. So alright, anyway, let's see what you're supposed to get. So first of all, what you get, of course, is obviously the figure itself, the Evangelion version of the Shinkalion units. For those who don't know, there was on the first original Shinkalion series, there was a specific or special episode that this actually showed up in the episode, and it kind of blew my mind at the time. But then again, they're on other episodes. There are definitely other fun references from other stuff as well. So yeah. So this one does not transform into the train. This is not meant for that kind of stuff, so I would like to mention that as well. So other than that, let's see what you get. So other than the figure, currently on the figure itself, I gave it the fist hands. And let's see on the right side, right over here, they do actually give you an action base, a typical looking action base as well. And then they do give you the claw version for holding the figure, but these aren't really that ideal. But at the same time, and then they do give you an AT field effect part. Man, Kaiyodo tends to be really they never forget to give you these AT field effect parts. Once again, yeah, if you can use these because they do give you a specific joint to actually hold this part as well. And then when you open this up, the AT field effect part, you need to peel off some wraps going on here, because there are these very thin wraps that are actually protecting this. So make sure you take those off as well. Because if you don't, for example, if you just attach this here and take it out there, you're gonna see some rips here. That means the wrapping is still there. So just be aware of that. Alright, other than that, here are the equipments going on here. So other than the fist hands, you do get some open hands. I believe the open hands are the ones that are already attached right inside the box, so that's that. And then you do get the weapon holding hands. I already attached them here. So here we have the shield here. For those, there are other Shinkalion units that use a very similar looking shield as well. These work as a shield, but also these contains missile launchers, so you can open them up and reveal the missiles. Now, as far as I know, or for this specific figure, there's no way to actually close these. These will be always opened up, so don't try to force it or you're gonna break something. So basically all these yellow stuff are the missiles, so that's good. And then the handle is right over here, so and just being a peg system, you can just peg it onto the hand right away. And the hands are your ball joint type hands. And then here we have the spear. Now, I'm surprised they only gave you one spear, because this is actually a combination between the original spear that the Evangelion type Shinkalion uses, and then there's the main character's weapon, which is a sword that attaches to the middle here. So it's more of a combination. So yeah, I'm surprised they just gave you this. I was hoping they would give you the regular spear as well. But still, once again, I think the size was definitely much bigger than I expected, and much more fatter, I think. But for those who are wondering how you attach the weapon to the hand, it's basically you can unpeg this, and then you can just peg the handle in and then reattach it like that. So pretty simple. Alright, so other than that, let's see the articulation here. So once again, not being a revoltech type figure, this was definitely an interesting experience. So I'm going to be extremely careful, because this figure, the interesting part is that anything that's stiff is very stiff, and something that's loose is kind of a bit loose. So yeah. All right, so let's looking at the figure overall. Whoops, yeah, that's one of the loose joints, but still, overall the looks, I really like the color combination, and then I also like the overall body, like the proportions at the same time. So what Kaiyodo does good on their figures, especially with the revoltech lines or the amazing Yamaguchi lines, that they do the exaggerated like proportions so that you can pull off some very dynamic poses. Alright, so let's see at the top section right over here. So everything here, there's no stickers, everything is painted, and I think for now, mine, I think I got lucky with the clean painted ones as well. So the head, once again, the neck joint, I think is a ball joint, but once again, it is extremely stiff. So I can barely move these up and down. So I can go up, that was close, I almost broke the horn there. So upwise, I can go that much. Downwise, I don't think I can go more than this. It's not letting me go down. So, and then going 360, oh boy. You can hear the plastic cracking already, so I don't think I can go 360. I mean, I can technically force it, but once again, be careful what you are doing so you don't break anything. So 360 is possible, but you can see I am extremely struggling to get this in the right position. And be careful with the horn because that is the most fragile part on this figure as far as I can tell. So be careful. Alright, so we've seen that. Now let's get the main body going on here. The main body articulation is kind of interesting, so let's see what we got. So you can go all the way down like that, and you can go all the way back, or kind of, not exactly all the way, but still you do get a nice ab crunch going on here. And then you can see there is actually a mid slit here that is not a straight line, but in an angle. So, which means you can twist the body in an angle like that. So this is actually going to be really helpful when it comes to certain poses. At first, this may look extremely goofy, but once again, when you think about it, the Bandai's Kyokai Senki line, they do the same thing for the waist. So yeah, it's actually pretty helpful and useful. Alright, now let's look at the arms. Now the arms, once again, keep in mind, despite from Kaiyodo, this is not the revoltech line, there are no revoltech joints. So it's going to feel extremely awkward if you were expecting a revoltech style figure when you bought this. So the ball joint, the arms are in ball joints, but once again, it's a very almost perfect fit to the point where if you go a little bit aligned off, then the ball joint will pop out. So once again, being a ball joint, you can go 360, and then you do get some nice forward and backward movement going on here like that. So yeah, you can see the ball joint is not ideal at the moment, so but still you do get a forward and backward movement going on here. I don't think you can go, the mid joint here does not rotate, so keep that in mind. And I'm just gonna pop off the ball joint because it wants to pop out. So here we have the arm here. So the arm, as you can see, the ball joint here, and we have another joint here. So you can reveal the joint with opening up the the shoulder arm right over here, and then you can move this specific joint up and down at the same time. So when you do it this properly. Now the reason why I'm taking it off is that it's extremely stiff. That joint you just saw is extremely stiff to the point where every time I try to do it, it just pops out. So roughly, I think I can roughly get about less than 90 degrees to the side as well. But also the lower arm, you can go 360, and bend wise, okay, let me just take this off as well. Oops. Bend wise, I think you do get a double, yeah, this is a double jointed bend, but once again, a little bit on the stiff side, so it may feel not like it's not supposed to bend, but it works, so keep that in mind. And despite being able to go 360 here, you would think this would be a peg, but no, it's actually a small ball joint. And despite how small the ball joint is, the hole here is extremely big. So I'm not sure how this works, but it just works. So Kaiyodo pulled off some really interesting stuff going on here. And as I mentioned before, the hands are your ball jointed hands. I'm going to take off the hand for now, so for some references, to show you guys more better designs here. So here is the side section right over here. So they did a pretty good job on the design here. So this thing, like certain revoltech figures, when it's not in the system where it just moves forward and backward, it actually moves in an angle like this. So I assume this is meant for like specific posing and such. So yeah, they did a pretty good job on the engineering as well. And on the back section, there's not much that actually moves as well. So keep that in mind. And then here is the hole for the action base. Now the side skirts, I'm just going to call these side skirts despite how they are connected. These will get in the way a lot, but luckily they are on ball joints and they do move pretty well. So you're going to be moving the back skirts to the back, the side skirts to the back a lot. And once they are in a specific position, they won't be getting in the way too often. And yeah, I don't, now despite how everything looks folded up, there's no way to actually open these up, so unless you mod it for some reason. So yeah. Now let me get there. And now looking at the front skirt, this is actually a front skirt that moves on its own if you want to check that out. So this is, I don't think this is on a ball joint, this is just on a peg that allows it to go up and down, but slightly in an angle, I think, slightly. And then the legs, now the joints that are holding the legs are slightly loose, so that is a little bit of a problem. But once again, the main connection between the waist and the sides are in a ball joint. So no, actually no, it's not on a ball joint. It's just so the main connection here, I think this is a ball joint. I can't pull it out right over here, but once again, because the way how it moves, it feels like a peg, but once again, there are multiple joints that allows you to move to the side and such, so it's fine. Okay, I think I have a better view here. Okay, so this is not a ball joint, this is just the actual typical joint going on here, but once again, it's not a peg style. You can see the joint, there's no peg here, so this entire joint is actually moving on its own. So there we go. I'm not sure if you can see that. You can see the entire round part is moving at the same time. So this is some sort of an interesting joint. I'm not sure, so I think these are one of the joints that are not meant to pop out. So once it's in there. But once again, I do suggest that you get one of those like liquids or like glue to like tighten this joint a little bit, because this part is moving a little bit too smooth for my taste. So, but as you can see, because of the articulation here, you can go to the side about 90 degrees here, and you do get a bit of a side swivel going on here. Not as much, but still it does exist to the point where it will help you with the posing as well. And then going to the front 90 degrees as possible, going to the back not so much, because there is a back skirt, believe it or not, so you're gonna have to move your way around like that. And then bend wise, we do get a pretty decent bend, double bend as well. Now despite everything is here, it looks like it can move out or you can pull out, but that's not really how it works. And I might need to recheck the anime one more time, because I don't really remember seeing missiles here, but that could be just my memory being fuzzy. And then the feet. Now the feet are very interesting. So the feet itself, let me look at this section right over here. You can go up like that and down backwards like that, and then you do get a pivot joint, because they're on the back section of the feet there are these plastic joints. So you do get a bit of a pivot, not as like much as you think, but just enough to get the figure onto the ground in any position, to basically match the ground angle with the feet angle at the same time. And then because of the structure here, you can actually move all the way out like this, and then yeah, you can slightly extend out the feet like that, but once again, that's not really necessary. Alright, so we've seen the basic articulation of the figure. So despite figuring Kaiyodo, there's no revoltech joints, so I think that is a pretty good start going on here. Although there are certain parts that are just too tight or too loose at the same time. So, and some parts of the design will get in the way of the articulation here. So for example, the arm, so there's this flap here, so you can see it's pretty much colliding with the arm, so you definitely want to move it all the way up at most times. So there are certain parts that the design is going to bother each other, but once again, if you get used to it, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. And okay, and once again, there are certain parts that you just need to be careful, like the head, so keep that in mind and you should be good. Alright, so we've seen the basics of the figure. I'll be right back with the demonstration and we will end it off there. Okay, I'm back. So here is the demonstration I wanted to do. So this was also mentioned in the box, but I don't think it's exactly 100% accurate to the picture, but still, I did try to pull it off. So this was the pose that the Eva was trying to do when he was trying to defeat the monster in the series. So yeah, basically he jumped, and now a down stabbing pose going on here. So once again, there are more cool poses that this can pull off, not because of the articulation, but also because thanks to the overall exaggerated proportions here, you can really pull off some really cool poses out here as well. But I'm not the best person to do these out there. But once again, hopefully you get the idea of it. So anyway, that is pretty much it. So once again, these figures are slightly more expensive because they aren't exactly revoltech. Now revoltechs also, according to rumors, the prices are going up, but still, I do have a small spot. I do have a small soft spot regarding for Kaiyodo and revoltech, because they were technically the first figure brand that I actually bought with my own money at the time as a kid. Anyway, so that was pretty much it for the review. This was the review of the Evangelion Evolution Shinkalion 500 Type Eva. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.